Hi guys, how's it going? In this video I'm going to talk about how I was able to return to Thailand. My name's Ben. I had been living in Thailand for around 6 years probably. Back in 2017 I first moved to Thailand and I began working as an English teacher. I was doing that for around 5 years and quite happy living out here and all that good stuff. However, maybe last year all of that kind of came to a bit of an abrupt end. I won't go into too much detail, but essentially I'd been given some bad advice by an agency who I was working for, and that created some complications with my documentation. Now, at the same time, I was also becoming a little bit tired of working as an English teacher out here in the school system. I kind of felt like I had peaked. There were people who'd been doing the trade for much longer than I had, who were much older than me, and they were at kind of a similar level. There was a little bit of, there wasn't anywhere else to really climb to be honest. So I wasn't all too upset that that kind of career path kind of came to some sort of cul-de-sac, and I was left at a fork in the road. I didn't know which way to go. However, one thing that was very upsetting to me at the time was it didn't look like I was going to be able to stay in Thailand. When I was working as an English teacher, then my visa was tied to the fact that I was working as an English teacher. I was given a non-immigrant B visa for business reasons. And like the visa length was even tied to like my contract, so I'd get a year visa for the year's contract of work that I'd been given by the school. And at that time, Thailand didn't really have too many other long-term visa options. Therefore, I was pretty worried. It didn't look like there was a route for me to stay in the country. I'd also begun to find some interesting opportunities online with some kind of remote and freelancing jobs. But like I said, there wasn't a route to get a long-term visa in the Kingdom of Thailand at that time. But fortunately for me, and kind of in a strange way, it was timed almost perfectly. Just as I was beginning to pack up my things and just as I was beginning to make plans to return home, I'd even started sending some of my stuff home actually, back to the UK with my dad. So I'd already began the process of sending things back to the UK, thinking that I wasn't going to be able to stay here long term at least. And then, as if from the sky, a new visa appeared. It can't have been more than a year ago, and that was the Destination Thailand visa, also known as the DTV visa. And as soon as I saw this visa, I was very excited. It seemed like the ideal visa for my situation. It was essentially a 5-year visa. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that. We'll get into a little bit more of the details in a second. But it was a 5-year visa, so a pretty long-term visa, which is exactly what I was looking for. And it was targeted at predominantly people or remote workers, so people who were working online outside of Thailand. Again, there didn't really exist a visa specifically for that category of person at the time, back even just a year ago when I was thinking that I was having to leave and move to a different country. Still though, this was a new visa, a brand new visa. There was a little bit of confusion surrounding it. I wasn't sure if I definitely did qualify for the visa. I wasn't sure if my history of working as an English teacher would complicate things. So yeah, I was still pretty concerned. Also, the route to getting this visa was a pretty new, through a pretty new system. There was a whole new sort of Thailand e-visa system that I had to go through. Which actually I was pretty pleasantly surprised by, so we'll get into that in just a moment too. But yeah, this visa option really offered me a lifeline, and as you may be able to tell from the fact that I'm sat outside in a t-shirt, I was able to return to Thailand. So this new visa is the reason why I've returned. It's the reason why I've been able to make at least medium to long-term plans and be able to like make Thailand my base once again, which I'm very happy about, very grateful for. I wanted to share with you some of the information about this visa. So as I mentioned, the visa that I'm currently on is the Destination Thailand visa, or the DTV. It's not a very old visa. It's probably been around for maximum about a year, maybe less even actually. So yeah, it is a pretty new visa, and it's targeted predominantly at remote workers, people who have jobs that are based online that operate from outside of Thailand, and that's pretty key. This visa does not give you permission to work within the Kingdom of Thailand, so it must be a job from your home country or outside of Thailand. Remote workers are not the only people that this visa is accessible to. Again, there's less information about this. However, my understanding is that it's also for people who are going to be practicing in culturally Thai things. So you could, for example, be studying Thai language at a language school in Thailand, and perhaps you could apply for the DTV based on language learning. You may also be able to do it for things like Muay Thai and Thai cooking and maybe even like yoga or massage. I'm not too sure about all of those things. However, it does seem to be that you can apply for it for language learning, which is great because a lot of people come here to study the language, and before you could only do that for a maximum of 1 year through the education visa system. However, if you can get that through the DTV, then that would give you 5 years to stay and study the language. So it'd be a much more effective way of learning the language, I would say. And better still for those people who want to come here, as many do, and study Muay Thai, because again, that could give you a really good amount of time, full 5 years studying Muay Thai in Thailand. I can see this being a really excellent visa option for lots of people. Now, there are a few things you should know about the DTV visa that is worthwhile remembering. So first of all, it is a 5-year visa. Now, that doesn't mean you can just come and stay in Thailand for that 5-year length, but it does mean you have a visa for 5 years. Okay, so what that means is that whenever you want to come to Thailand within that 5-year window that your visa has been approved for, then you can come to Thailand with that e-visa and you will get stamped into the country. When you arrive to Thailand with your DTV visa, you will get a stamp in your passport that grants you 180 days in the kingdom. Now, per entry, I think it is also possible, and I've not done this yet, but I will report back when I have and let you know how that goes. But it is possible, I believe, to extend each entry by a further 180 days, which does give you almost a full year in Thailand. After those 180 days, if you're successful in getting that extension, then you must leave the kingdom, and then again you can return whenever you wish within that 5-year window, and you will get stamped in for 180 days. And I believe you can do an extension per entry. You can do one extension per entry, meaning that you can get the 180 days, extend within Thailand for a further 180 days, then you must leave before returning to get more time on that visa up until that 5-year window has expired. When it comes to applying for this visa, I went through the e-visa route. So I was in England, and I did the entire visa application process was entirely online, which was brand new for me as well. In the past, I've had to go to Thai embassies in the UK to get the visa. This was all through the e-visa system, and like I said, I was actually very pleasantly surprised. I was a little bit worried about using an e-visa system. I thought that might be a little bit tricky, might come with some complications, but I actually found the experience really smooth and I was really happy with it overall. All I had to do was to go to the e-visa website with my documents and apply for the visa that I was applying for, which was a DTV visa. When it comes to the DTV, the main documents that you'll be asked to submit is your reasons for applying for this visa. So if you're a remote worker, you'll be asked to give some kind of documentation that shows that. Maybe that would be a contract with an employer. Maybe that would be a portfolio of work if you're self-employed or a freelancer. On top of your passport, you will need a second form of identification, so a driving license in your home country perhaps, or a utility bill may be required. And one of the other main things you will need for applying for this visa is proof of funds. Proof of funds is essentially your bank account showing that you have enough money to live in the Kingdom of Thailand for that visa length. This isn't money that you are paying, this is just simply money you are proving that you are in possession of. The amount was £11,000 if you're applying from the UK. Now that figure does vary from country to country because I think the official figure is 500,000 Thai baht. And again, because of conversion rates, then there'll be different sort of values for different countries. But in the UK, it was £11,000. You had to have proof of funds. Once I'd submitted those documents, I was actually asked for further documentation, which can happen. I was asked for an updated version of my contract because the contract was from when I signed with the company. They wanted a more recent one, which I was able to get. I also had to get a letter from my employers, which was a little bit tricky because I'm self-employed, but I was able to get a letter from someone who I was contracted by. And that letter was sort of specifically detailing my job role and letting them know that it was remote work. So after I'd given the initial documents that the website asked for, again, I was asked for a further 2 documents, although one of them was kind of just an updated version of the document I had uploaded. And yeah, after that, I was probably waiting 2 to 3 weeks, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, and I got an email saying that my visa was approved. One final thing on the application of the e-visa, you do have to pay the visa fee. Okay, so in this case, the DTV visa fee, if applying through the e-visa system in the UK, was £300. Like I said, I've never applied for or been granted an e-visa before, and it was literally emailed to me, the actual visa, so I printed that off. And when I got to the Thai passport control, I literally handed my passport, said to them I have an e-visa, handed them the printout of my visa, and they simply stamped me in for those 180 days, which was fantastic. It was really smooth. I was overall really happy with the application process. So once I'd been emailed my visa, I made my plans to return to Thailand, bought my tickets, flew out to Bangkok airport. When I got to immigration or passport control, I was a little bit worried, as it can be, a little bit intimidating. Here I was with this brand new visa. Wasn't too sure what the process was. Did I need to go to visa on arrival and get that transferred to a visa in my passport? But no, I just went straight to passport control, handed them my passport, handed them a printout version of this e-visa, and they literally just stamped me in. I told them, hi, I have an e-visa, and they did everything on their computer. And I was straight through. It was really smooth. One of the smoother sort of passport control visits I've had, so I was really happy about that. It's great to be back, and I'm very happy overall with the DTV visa so far. Seems to be a really good visa, and I'm very happy that it is available. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys and update you on my current situation. I am planning to make another video with a more detailed breakdown about the DTV, so if you'd find that useful, let me know in the comments. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.